Welcome to the Bushido Gang. What's up, ladies and gentlemen? It's AttackonSamurott, bringing you all a long overdue Pokemon Scarlet and Violet OU team builder. It has been, I want to say, it's been over 7 months since I did my last team building video. Um, last team building video I did was for Quake Laval, and that was when the meta just started. So, and pretty much like during that time or after that time, I took a break, about a 2 to 3 month break. So I'm still fairly new into the metagame, only having to play more recently as of February. Um, but and again, February still counting days I didn't actually play as often. So I want to say that I have knowledge, but I don't have enough knowledge about the metagame yet. So I'm only giving you what I've seen and what I played against so far. But anyways, I'm gonna give you my thoughts on Hisuian Samurott. So these are the sets that Hisuian Samurott runs right now. And again, the Mon's very common. Mon's like top 5 right now on ladder. And it makes sense because it has a very powerful move that allows us to just get momentum without really having to do too much. But before we get started though, with this little team builder video around Hisuian Samurott, please make sure to leave a like, comment, and subscribe. Follow me on Twitter, join my Discord, the Bushido Gang, and subscribe for some more content on the channel. And yeah. So, Hisuian Samurott. Let's talk about that guy real quick. So, this Mon, right? I had a lot of high hopes for this Mon when it first dropped. Like when it first dropped in Pokemon Legends. Like I was just like, yo, that's a cool design. That's fire. They actually gave my Mon, they gave my mascot some love, and I love that. So hopefully they do the same thing with the other Unova starters. But still, Hisuian Samurai is a major upgrade from the original one. With it being water dark and also having a little bit more options now, especially with knockoff being stabbed too. So yeah, but the main attraction is, or actually, there's two things, right? Hisuian Samurott getting a new ability and also getting a new signature move. So its ability sharpness boosts the power of slicing moves. So it boosts moves like Razor Shell, Ceaseless Edge, Aqua Cutter, and even I don't know if Air Slash gets boosted. Someone can let me know in the comments below if that gets boosted. Actually, I wonder if it's actually the stat or if it's the, oh, it's just the move in general. I'm curious if this actually gets boosted. Let me know in the comments below. But Aqua Cutter gets boosted as well, and so does Sacred Sword too. I know Ace gets boosted, Air Release gets boosted, but again, that's not a real. Eh, you know what? I think that one has an option too. That one might actually have an option. I'll add that as an option because I think that one could be good for the common grass types that may switch in. But I'll talk about that anyway. Anyways, these are the 4 sets that Hisuian Samurott's going to be running a lot. So you'll see this a lot on ladder. And the Mon is very customizable because there's a lot of different options you can do outside of Ceaseless Edge. With including Ceaseless Edge, like you need to have that move, right? This Mon, this is this Mon's gimmick. This Mon's gimmick is to get spikes down with this move. And Ceaseless Edge is also boosted by sharpness, but also it does add that spike down. So with spikes being added being added onto this move, it does make it a very effective hazard stacker. So this is the king of hazard stacking right now, just because it has a move that if it lands, it gets 1 spike down. And I do want to mention the offensive powers of having a move like this that just gives you momentum straight up like that. When you have a move like this, it just continually gives you momentum. There isn't a whole lot you can do around it, right? Like you have to have, again, a spinner to remove the spike still, or have a defogger. And a lot of the time, Hisuian Samurott can be paired with something to stop said defog. So it'll be paired with a ghost, or it'll be paired with it's gonna be paired with a ghost a lot of the time. So you're gonna see it paired with like Dragapult or Goldango. Um, but yeah. So for since we got our lead, lead, SD, Scarf, AV, and then the other options that are applied to it. So the lead set runs Ceaseless Edge, Razor Shell, Knockoff, and Jet. The lead set can be pretty customizable in what it can do, but we're going to talk about what the base set does. So Ceaseless Edge allows it to get the spike down on said turn in the lead position. Pretty much it's going to be clicking Ceaseless Edge a lot in the lead position. It's pretty much free on everything. Since Dark hits everything in the tier and has no real resist besides, you know, like fighting and Dark and Fairy, which are all very common typing right now. Razor Shell hits those said checks as well. You got Knockout to remove items. Then you got Jet for the cleanup. So Razor Shell does do a lot as well with it being sharpness boosted, so we'll get the damage it needs on said check. So again, hitting stuff like Great Tusk, or hitting stuff like Great Tusk, or again hitting stuff like Landorus, other fires as well. So hitting stuff like Keytran, Iron Moth, Moltres, all those things do not appreciate getting hit by a Razor Shell. So it'll do a quite a good chunk to it, and it also does have the defense drop as well. So with that defense drop being added on, said Mon is not a check anymore. So or is not a switch in anymore. And also again, the switch in does apply as well. So the Razor Shell will do the damage it needs to do against said switch in too. Granted, you don't want to really like chip stuff like, you know, a moon. I mean, you could chip stuff like a Moongus, but it won't really matter anyway since that's the switch in. But again, the main thing is that you will get damage with this thing. That's the main thing to really factor in. So yeah, with it being a lead, you want to get spikes down as soon as possible, and then just apply pressure from there. Now again, if you're running lead, you do have a lot of options in the back to cover for it. So if this Mon does go down after getting all its hazards down, then that's fine. A lot of the time, or I mean, depending on the team, Samurott can just Terra Ghost. That way it can keep its spikes down and also avoid the spin as well. So that will help out in cases where you're fighting stuff like Great Tusk or even Iron Treads. So when it's in a position like that, pretty much all you can do, or what you can do with Samurott, is again Terra Ghost with it, and then just Razor Shell said Great Tusk, or again Jet it if it's very low as well. If it's already low enough, but if it's already at full, you want to just hit the thing before it can actually get its spin off and whatnot, and then just apply pressure from there. So yeah, and again, like I said, the Sash set can run other options. The other options it can run are Icy Wind, and you can even run Sucker Punch on the Sash set as well. So like Icy Wind, Sucker Punch, or Encore. So you can drop that over Jet, and you can still get something out of it. I think Icy Wind and Encore are a little bit more favorable. Taunt is also another option as well. Let me add Taunt too here. Taunt's another option as well. You can put for the Sash lead set too, since you can stop opposing monsters from doing any kind of setup for having any kind of setup opportunity, or even trying to get hazards up on their own or of their own as well. So you have that to work with too, and just apply pressure from there. I think Icy Wind is a pretty good one though, because with that you can also force out switch-ins too, but also just be faster on the following turn. So you'd be able to slow things down and be able to get damage on that turn or on the following turn as well. So it's not too bad, right? It's not too bad of an option, I think. Then we have the SD set. So the SD set is interchangeable as well, similar to the lead set. The SD set's going to be running on its base set: SD, Razor Shell, Ceaseless Edge, and Jet. For the item is pretty customizable. You can make it Mystic Water. You can make it Life Orb, Splash Plate. Life Orb, Splash Plate. You could even make it Sash too, if you really want to go that route and just get as much damage as possible on the said turn. So that's another option you can do with this as well. Kind of similar to what Landorus did back in previous gens, where it would run an SD set on a Sash lead set and pretty much just apply like Rock Tomb in the Boom or whatnot. And yeah, like Rock's Boom and then like SD or something like that. But yeah, so you have that option with this as well. So yeah, that can be on a Sash option, because you'll still get your spike down too. And yeah, so Taunt is another option you could try on the set as well. So you have Taunt to stop, again, the hazards, or stop the opponent from setting up or doing any kind of shenanigans with that too. Another option you could put over Jet is Sucker Punch. You can run Sucker Punch to cover for the ghost types. So, because again, a lot of the ghost types that do come in on Samurott, they're going to be afraid of Ceaseless Edge. So they may scout for it, or they may scout for said move. But also, if they're faster, like for example, if you're fighting like a Scarf Golden Go, or you're fighting Dragapult, they're just gonna stay in and just hit you. But with Sucker Punch, you actually catch them off guard and take them out. So that's another option you have on the SD set as well. Again, Jet's not bad, but Sucker hits the ghost types harder. Jet's good for like, again, late gaming stuff as well. So again, late gaming the ground types and the fire types, especially if you're not faster than said fire types. So again, something like Cinderace, for example, you want to be able to hit that with Jet. Same with Moth, same with Moltres. More Moth than Moltres, really. And again, Stab as well. Jet will do more to Valiant and other fairies too. So again, it's up to you and really how you want to customize it, especially if you have other things in the back that can also deal with said checks. Yeah. And I think I did mention the Encore set. The Encore set can work too on the SD set. You can run that over Jet if you really want to. That way you can set up on said mon that's locked in the Encore. You just SD up and just be able to hit something on switching. So yeah, forcing a stack or forcing damage on something to come in to take the said hit. Then we have the Scarf set. So Scarf Samurott's gonna be running Ceaseless Edge, Razor Shell, Knockoff, and Sacred Sword. So again, with the Scarf set, for one, its speed's gonna be at 442, so it outspeeds the fastest mon in the tier, being Dragapult, by just about 23 points. No, not 23 points, my bad. It's 21 points. So you outspeed it by that much. And yeah, so it's faster enough for that. Unfortunately, it doesn't outspeed stuff that go under setup. So again, when you have to deal with the booster mons, it doesn't outspeed them. So it doesn't outspeed Great Tusk, nor does it outspeed Valiant as well, since they're both going to be faster with their booster energy activated. So that's something to also notice as well. But again, outside of that, Ceaseless Edge is still free, the Scarf set's still free enough to outspeed said things. So Ceaseless Edge, you want to be able to get your spike down and just apply pressure as soon as possible. Razor Shell, again, covers for the water, or covers for the ground types, fire types, and even hits a lot of other things neutrally too. Knockoff is good for removing said item as well, and just applying pressure too on said mons. I think Knockoff can work on the lead and even SD set too, so those are other options as well. I mean, it's already on here, but you can also run it on the SD set too. But again, if you're running Knockoff, you have to drop something here. You have to drop Jet, which I don't think you really want to do, or you drop. Yeah, you don't want to drop this move. You want to keep this move. But if you do want to be that one guy that doesn't run Ceaseless Edge, go be my guest and run Knockoff. But nah. I think Knockoff can work on the SU set. But again, it's kind of weird to really fit that option. I think it's better on Lead or Scarf. So yeah, and even on AV as well, you can run the AV. You can run it with the AV. But yeah, Sacred Sword is an option that you can run on Hisuian Samurott as well. You can run this on the Scarf set. I think it could probably work on the other two sets as well, but I think it's more effective on Scarf and AV, because you can actually hit said mons right away and not really have to set up to deal with them as well. But also when it comes to like the lead option, especially if it's like a mirror match between both Hisuian Samurotts, one of them is gonna get something out of it, right? Whether it's a spike, whether it's a knockoff, whether it's a taunt or something. There's always going to be a weird scenario where you're going to be trading with Samurott. So on the Sash lead set, Sacred Sword can work if you're going to mirror match against that thing. But again, 9 times out of 10, you're not going to really see that kind of scenario. Well, no, the mon's very common, so it's a possibility you'll see that opportunity. But again, it's a mirror match in that case. So there's that to mention. But yeah, going back to the Scarf set, Sacred Sword's good for covering for steel types. Especially King Gambit, since Samurott can actually take a hit from King Gambit and be able to apply pressure with Sacred Sword. Outside of that, right? King Gambit's still weird too because of Terra, but if we're not factoring in Terra, then Sacred Sword can dominate it. But if we're gonna factor in Terra, then that's where things get very complicated, because then you have to deal with potentially Terra Fairy, Terra Dark. Well, actually, Terra Dark's not the one you want to actually deal with. It's actually Fairy or Flying. Those are the ones that actually you can't really damage to it with Sacred Sword. But again, if that's not the case, then Sacred Sword's free on said mon. It does cover other things as well. I like covering for Guard, covers for other skills like Keytran, covers for neutral things like Hoopa as well. Again, King hits Meow if it's not Scarfed, hits Roaring Moon, hits Rotom for even some decent chip as well, but it's not like ton. You definitely just want to see that thing. Hits Tinglu as well, doing a little bit more than Razor Shell, not by too much though, since it's stab, but it's still something. And hits Ursaluna as well, and also it's like accurate. That's another thing to mention too. And it is a little bit stronger than Razor Shell too, being base 90. But yeah, So I think Scarf can work as a late game cleaner, but it can also be a good opener as well. So yeah, especially against mons that you think would be, or especially in mons for against mons that are typically going to be the faster option. So against something like Walking Wake is a good one too. So you outspeed that thing and still get damage on it. Speaking of Walking Wake, this is one mon that can actually take a hit, or this is one of the few mons that can take a hit from it because it's AV. So AV Hisuian Samurott is also effective at being effective at being a team player and taking a special hit from something, and then still being able to get off damage with Ceaseless Edge or again a knockoff. But again, you want to get the edge to get the chip and also get the spike if you can get the spike, because again this move is very it's a love or hate kind of move, right? I've had a game where I used this thing and it's missed like 3 times. so so my boy, he do be missing. He do be missing, unfortunately, but that's the nature of a base 90 move. Or anything below base 100, it's not accurate. Just remember that. Anything below base 100 is not accurate. I mean, anything below base 90 or below base 100 accuracy is not accurate. So just remember that. Anyways, Ceaseless Edge. If you can land it, you get your spike and you get your chip. And especially on said special attacker, you still will get that chip on it. A Razor Shell covers for said special attacker still. And getting the chip off of Razor Shell and just getting your getting the potential -1 drop in defense. You do got the knockoff to apply pressure and remove items too, so there's that to mention as well. So again, removing an item is definitely key for getting chip on things, especially because a lot of mons right now are running boots. So being able to remove boots and also still have your spiker right here is very nice too. It's very, very nice. And the other options that we have, so again, these other options can fit on pretty much fit on the other sets. Like I mentioned in the beginning, I think lead can function with Icy Wind or even Encore, because again, you slow things down with Icy Wind and then you still get your spike down as well. You may even get 2 layers down depending on the situation that you're in. So there's that to mention too. Encore, like I said, can work on said SG set, so you can run Encore to again apply pressure on the mon that is doing something, and then you just set up from that point, just spam SD or just spam Razor Shell after an SD or even Ceaseless Edge as well. Again, Sacred Sword, like I mentioned, it's better on these 2 sets, but it can work on the other 2. I think lead can work with it, but again, it's very weird because you have to drop knockoff, and again, I don't think you want to drop knockoff. I don't think that's the move you really want to drop right there. But again, it is an option that you have. And Sucker Punch, like I mentioned already, Sucker Punch can work on the SD set if you want to hit, again, Golden Go and you want to hit Dragapult. I think Scarf can run it as well if you don't really need Sacred Sword. If you have another fighter, which you probably will have another fighter, right? You'll probably have like King, or not King. You'll probably have like Great Tusk or Sneasler or Valiant. There's so many fighting types in this metagame. There's so many fighting types. But you'll have a fighting type here. So you don't have to run Sacred Sword, but you're free to do so if you want to. But again, Sucker is another option that you have on Scarf and on the SD set. Even the lead set can run it as well, and so can AV. So again, Sucker Punch is very free on all the other options here. And yeah, and I didn't even mention Mix. Mix is also another option that you can run too. So you can run Mix on lead, or you can run Mix on lead or even Mix on AV. Even Scarf can kind of do it, but I don't think you really want to do that. I think that would be better if you're running like I think if you're going Mix, you probably want to just go 4 attack with Life Orb. That way you'll get the most amount of damage with it. It can probably work on a stat boosting move. So you again on a stat boosting item, so something like Mystical Water or again Splash Plate or Black Glasses, it'll probably work there. But again, like I said, this mon is very customizable on what you can do with it. But yeah, with Mix you can run Ceaseless Edge, Surf to hit Great Tusk, even Ice Beam if you really want to be able to hit stuff like other ground types. So again, hitting like Lando or whatnot, but again, Surf is probably the better option anyway. Ice Beam isn't bad for Dragonite if you want to catch that, but again, like that's pretty much up to you and what you want to do with it. But again, Surf is probably the better option anyway. So you want Surf to cover for Great Tusk. Grass Hunt's also not bad too because that covers Great Tusk as well and also covers for Hisuian Samurott too. And yeah, then you have Aerial Ace. So I mentioned this option because this is just a weird one, right? I mean, like, it's not terrible if you think about it because you do have something to hit opposing fighters and also still be able to hit grasses. Again, I just threw this option out there because I think it looked interesting. But Aerialist is boosted by sharpness, so you can't run that. I didn't mean to put torrent there; it was already there. Anyways, Aerialist, you can run Aerialist here, to cover for Amoonguss if you really want to. You could run that to cover for yeah, again, covering for Amoonguss, covering for hitting stuff neutrally as well. But definitely, it's not a bad option still. Definitely not a bad option. But again, if you're running that, if you're running this, if you're running Aerial Ace, then you may want to try that on the SD set. But again, like I said, it's very the Mon kind of has a 4 move slot, kind of has the 4 move slot syndrome right now, where it can do so many options, right? I think Scar can run it as well if you really want something to hit Amoonguss. But again, like I said, it's up to you on how you really want to play this Mon out. And again, I already mentioned Taunt. Taunt can work on a 3-attack set like this. Not like this set, obviously, but you get what I mean. You can run like Taunt, Ceaseless, yeah, Taunt, Ceaseless, Razor Shell, and then Jet, or Sucker Punch on that. But yeah, again, like I said, the Mon is very versatile, so it can do a lot of different things, and that's what kind of makes this Mon stand out right now. Not just because of its ability and its move, but also just because of the options that it has with it going along with it. So I am curious to see what other things this Mon will be doing in the future, especially once the DLC comes out for Chill Mask and for the other one. I think those are going to be very cool. I think those are going to be very cool metagames to see how Hisuian Samurott evolves over that time. But yeah. And the crazy thing is, I never even mentioned Terra. I don't think the Terra really matters too much on Samurott, right? Like, a lot of the time, it's going to be pretty much running its stab. It's pretty much just going to be running stab to boost it. So it'll probably go Terra Water or Terra Dark. But again, if you're running lead, then Ghost is probably the one you would run the most, since you want to be able to keep hazards down and not let your opponent get momentum. So yeah, those are just my little tidbits right there on what I think about Hisuian Samurott. This Mon, I'm so happy this Mon is like top tier. This is a great day. It's a great metagame to be in right now. Like, this is definitely something to take advantage of right now for Hisuian Samurott. So yeah. I may do a team builder with it. This is more like just showing you what it can do. I may do a team builder with it, but I can't promise you that right now, because I have another one I really want to actually team build with. So this is more like just an opening, because again, I haven't done this in months. So yeah, that's gonna be that for the Showdown live. If you guys enjoyed the live, actually, you know what? Before I do that, I want to show you the calcs for AV, so you can see what mons it can actually take on. Because again, I already mentioned that Hisuian Samurott can take at least 1 hit from Drake, or from Walking Wake from Draco. It can take at least 1 hit from that. Not super well, but it can take it. When it comes to the fairies, though, that's where things get a little weird. It doesn't technically take that. Technically take that on. But we can look anyway for science. So let's see. So Samurott. Excuse me. So the AV set. Guju doesn't really count right here. I mean, it's good to see, but like it doesn't really count. Let's check Walking Wake so you can see how much it actually takes. So it can take a Draco. It's not gonna like live, or I mean, it can live it, but like just barely can live it. But yeah, at full, the chances of it living are pretty much like 43 to 43%. So it'll get something still. So you can either go for the chip and trade, or you can knock it, remove its items. You can take the other hits later. So there's that to mention. But again, the damage roll is insane there, so just be warned about that. But it can't take the hit. But I think the Mon you actually want to be able to take a hit from, just based on AV, seems to be something that's a little bit weaker. So maybe something like Golden Go, or even Moth. It can take a hit from Moth. It can take a hit from Rotom at least. Maybe even take a hit from Zapdos. Granted, again, those are very a little more crazy. But I believe it can take a hit from at least the defensive one, but not the offensive one. Yeah, so it can take the Volt Switch. It's just about a 2 KO on this set, on the defensive set if it's AV. But obviously the offensive, it does a lot more to it, so be warned about that. And yeah, I think I pretty much covered everything. So that's gonna be that for the Showdown live. Or wait, my bad. This isn't a Showdown live. My bad. I meant this team builder. This is gonna be that for this Hisuian Samurott team builder. If you guys enjoyed it, please let me know in the comments below and let me know what's your favorite Hisuian Samurott set. I'd like to know what you guys have been using on ladder and just what has been the most successful for you so far. Again, from what I've seen on ladder a lot, I've been seeing more lead and scarf sets. SD is around, but it's not very common. and AV. Actually, let me reiterate that this is the most popular set right now on hyper offense. Scarf is okay. It can work on offensive teams. AV is okay as well, but again, this one is more like I don't have Galler King, so this is my AV mon that can take a hit from a special hit, or that can take a hit from a special move. And then SD is like it's there, but it's not really like it's not seen as much as you think it would be. But I think this is probably like this might be the this might be the least popular. I think the AV might be the least popular set, and then SD's third, and then it's 1 and 2. So that's what I think it looks. That's how it looks to me anyway. But yeah, that's gonna be that. Hope y'all enjoyed. Make sure to leave a like, comment, and subscribe. Follow me on Twitter, join my Discord, the Bushido Gang, and subscribe for some more content on the channel. On my way to reaching 550 subs soon, so if we can hit that goal, that'd be pretty cool. And yeah, so I'll do my team team building thing or team builder. Maybe I'll do it with a Hisuian Samurott, but I really want to do another mon. So I'll just see what I come up with, and that'll be that. Be safe, watch your hands, and peace out.